Today we are going to be talking about your unpopular book opinions. I hope we have some juicy ones in here. I asked you guys over on Instagram to submit your unpopular book opinions. Everything will remain anonymous, and if you aren't following me on Instagram, you totally should. We have quite a few submissions, so I'm going to go through as many as I can, starting with the first one, which absolutely breaks my heart, and that is that Colleen Hoover is overrated. And then it says, fight me. I will fight you. No, I'm just kidding. Absolutely kidding. It does hurt my heart that you think Colleen Hoover is overrated, because I do not feel that with a single fiber in my soul. I do not think that she is overrated. I love her so much, and I am, I guess, part of the problem that causes people to believe that Colleen Hoover is overrated, because all I do is rave about her. She is my all-time favorite author. I have not been disappointed by a single book that I have read by her. I don't know how many I've read, but I've read quite a few, and I love her work so much. She's the queen of plot twists, in my opinion, and I love the characters she writes. I love the plot. I love everything about her books. So I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one, because I think she deserves all the hype in the world. This next one is interesting, and it says that most BOOKTOK books are worth the hype. I feel like most people say that BOOKTOK overhypes books, and they're never as good as people say they are, but this person disagrees. This person says that most of the ones that go viral are worth it, and I'm gonna say that I agree with you in saying that most of BOOKTOK viral books are worth it. I think that they get hype for a reason. I've only been severely disappointed by one book because of BOOKTOK, and I just don't understand. It is one that does have a lot of mixed reviews. The book is We Were Liars, in case you're interested. I hated the book. I thought it was awful. The plot twist, I mean, for a second I was like, oh, and then I was just like, this is horrible. So unfortunately, I did not enjoy that book whatsoever, but that's the only time BOOKTOK has ever steered me wrong. There's been one other book that I felt kind of iffy about, but you know, I don't regret reading it. I do in a way regret reading We Were Liars. But yeah, I feel like for the most part BOOKTOK steers me in the right direction, which I appreciate. I have several people saying that Where the Crawdads Sing is overrated and slow and boring and predictable, and I really hope that's not the case. I cannot confirm nor deny that opinion because I have not read the book, but it is on my July TBR. The movie comes out in like a week or two, and I really want to read the book before the movie comes out so that I can watch the movie and hopefully enjoy it. I've heard a lot of hype around this book. I've heard the beginning is slow, like the first half of the book is slow, and then it really picks up. It's kind of like a mystery, I think. I literally know basically nothing about this book other than what I just told you. I don't even know where it takes place. Maybe New Orleans or something like that. I couldn't tell you. I know Reese Witherspoon is a huge fan of the book, as well as Taylor Swift. So hopefully it's good. Let me know what you guys think. I've heard that people that DNF'd the book hated it, but those that stuck to the end and actually finished it did enjoy it and said that it was worth it. So let me know your thoughts on Where the Crawdads Sing, and let me know if you plan on reading it or watching the movie. This next one is interesting because I would have wholeheartedly agreed with you a few months ago, but now I don't know where I stand on the topic. So this says physical books are better than reading from a Kindle. I would have sworn to you that this was the only correct opinion a few months ago before I started reading on my Kindle. And then I started using it more, and I really enjoy reading on my Kindle. I will say I feel like I enjoy physical books more, but I still love my Kindle, and I feel like I read so much faster when I'm reading on my Kindle, and I never would have thought that I would enjoy ebooks, but I really do. So I don't know, I'm kind of like in the middle. I definitely read more physical books than I do on my Kindle, but I also have a lot of physical books that I need to read, so I don't think that one is like way better than the other. I'm kind of like in the middle ground, but again, let me know your opinions, and if you agree or disagree with anything that I'm saying or that the people of Instagram are saying down below in the comments. just don't argue, please. That's the only thing that I ask. Be respectful and nice, but it's okay to disagree. This next one says, cannot and will not read anything in third person. My brain just can't follow along. So listen, I feel you. I'm currently reading a book in third person. I'm reading Malibu Rising, and I gotta say, I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it, guys. And I don't know if it's because it's in third person, but I feel almost zero connection to any of the characters. I have read a few books in third person. I absolutely prefer first person. It's just way easier for me to read. I have to like sit there and like physically think about reading and think about thinking for the first several chapters of a third person book to get in the right mindset to understand that when I'm reading the narration, it's not coming from the character, it's coming from an imaginary person that's not actually there, which is a little bit bothersome. And I also just like don't feel as connected to the characters when you're not like exactly in their heads. Obviously in third person you get details that the characters are thinking and whatnot, but it's different when it comes from the character directly. So although I do not enjoy third person nearly as much as I do first person, I will not let that be a deal breaker necessarily unless I'm already on the fence about it. But yeah, not a fan of third person. I don't know, it makes reading so much more difficult. Ow, I just like flung my mirror on the ground and it smashed my foot. But anyway, yeah, I'm with you on that one. My camera battery is about to die, so I'm gonna change that really quick and then we will be back to the opinions. This next one says that I don't like second chance romance very much. I feel like I'm gonna disagree with you on there. My like IRL love story is second chance romance. So I feel like I am definitely biased towards the subject. If you guys didn't know, my boyfriend and I dated in high school very briefly, but we did, and then we didn't talk for like probably like 8 years or something, and then we started dating again, and now we live together in a house and we have a dog together and it's great. So I love second chance romance. But I understand people not liking the trope. I feel like tropes are very specific to the person, and although I don't really have any that I necessarily dislike besides cheating, I don't like reading about cheating, so the cheating trope, not a fan of. But everything else I'm pretty much open to. But I do understand people not liking specific tropes for sure. This person says, it's a waste of money to buy a book I won't read again. I just use the library. Again, very understandable. I do enjoy purchasing books and I love displaying them on my bookshelf, but again, I know that not everybody cares for that, and that's part of the reading experience for me. That's part of, you know, the entire picture of what I enjoy so much. And I feel accomplished when I read books. I love like knowing like I've read this many books and seeing the physical like amount of pages that I've read, obviously excluding Kindle, and I feel proud of it. But I'm also new to reading, and I feel like if I've read my entire life I would definitely relate to this more. But for now, I would say I disagree. I do want to get a library card though. I just was talking about that the other day to my boyfriend, that I want to go to the library and get a library card. Just because I feel like they have a lot of good audiobooks and stuff, and I've never listened to an audiobook before, so that's something that I want to try. And yeah, I'm gonna say I disagree, but I also understand. Paperback is elite. I'm gonna say I agree with you. I love paperback books. They are my favorite. I prefer them over hardcover by a long shot. I'm currently reading Malibu Rising, like I said, and I have the hardcover, and I haven't read a hardcover book in so long, since like probably middle school or high school, somewhere along there. And it's not as comfortable. Again, it's the whole experience. It's not the same. So I would absolutely choose paperback over hardcover. I also think they look cute. I know hardcovers look nice, and I feel like depending on the book I could appreciate the hardcover more than the paperback, but in general I prefer paperback. I love the way they all look together, and I just like holding them, and they're more convenient, and it's an inexplainable thing. So let me know if you're team paperback or team hardcover or team Kindle or all of the above. This next one says, I hate long chapters. Short chapters are easier to digest, especially with a toddler. I 100% agree with you. Can't relate on the whole toddler thing, but I can definitely see where that can be extremely convenient. You can read like 1 or 2 chapters, you're at a good stopping point, and then, you know, you can do what you gotta do. But I love short chapters, even if there's like, say 100 chapters in the book, if they're all short as opposed to 50 longer chapters. I just think it makes me keep reading longer because I'm like, oh, I only have a few more pages. Oh my god, I can't even speak. I only have a few more pages like until the next chapter, and I always stop on a chapter. It drives me nuts if I have to stop not like at the beginning of a chapter. So I love short chapters. I feel like you said, it makes it a lot easier to digest, but it also promotes more reading from me because I know that I'm always close to a stopping point and I can just keep going, keep going, keep going. The book I'm reading now, Malibu Rising, has a variation of chapter length. Some of them are like 2 pages, some of them are like 15. And whenever I come up to a 15-page chapter, I'm like, all right, I'm stopping there because I don't know if I can make it through the next 15 pages without stopping. So long chapters are definitely a deterrent for me personally. The off-campus series is repetitive and unrealistic. I feel like I kind of agree with you. Don't get me wrong, I loved the off-campus series. I thought it was great. I thought it was really entertaining. We love Garrett Graham, love him. I also love a lot of the other characters. I do see what you mean by it being repetitive. I didn't expect it to be like some crazy revolutionary literary masterpiece, but it was definitely entertaining for me, and I did get invested in the stories. Loved the fact that it was dual POV. That was my first experience with multiple point of views from characters in books, so I loved that, and I did really enjoy the series, except for The Legacy. That one, that was kind of a flop if you ask me, but the rest of the series was great. I don't think it's necessarily overrated, but if you go into it with the wrong expectation, I can see where you could be disappointed. Sometimes the movie is better. Ooh, I would have disagreed with you on this until The Summer I Turned Pretty, which isn't a movie, it's a show. And I loved the books, loved them so much. And then I watched the show and then I was like, okay, like this is like low-key better than the books. And I think that part of it was the soundtrack of the show. It was phenomenal. I already am dying to rewatch the show. I binged it in a day. I'm ready to start it again. So good. Loved how funny it was. Loved everything that they took from the book. I loved the changes that they made. I loved the characters, the actors that played the characters, and I thoroughly enjoyed the show. I thought it was great, and I would say that the show is better than the books. Even though I love the books, don't get me wrong, love them, would absolutely recommend them, but the show was so good. We have a couple people saying Harry Potter sucks, Harry Potter's not worth it. I will say I have not read the Harry Potter books. I do have them, I got them for Christmas. Definitely need to read those. I have seen all the movies. It's been a while since I've seen them all though, so I need to like rewatch. My Harry Potter knowledge is only so-so, but I really enjoyed the movies. I would always go to like the midnight premiere with my dad. My dad loves going to the movies, and we would always go. He would sit through the Twilight movies, the Harry Potter movies, Hunger Games, Divergent, all of those, because I was obsessed with those series when I was younger. So we'd always go to the midnight premieres, and I thoroughly enjoyed the Harry Potter series, but I do want to read the books and see if my opinion changes. This one says, I've never rated a book lower than 4 stars. I'm the worst critic. I like everything and move on. I feel like this is definitely an unpopular opinion because I feel like people can be so harsh when it comes to books and ratings and reviews. I have rated a few books under 4 stars, and I've kind of learned my scale as I've read more and more. I definitely have a very high average rating. I think my average is probably like 4.5. But of the books that I've rated under 4 stars, only one was not good, the one I mentioned earlier. But I think I've rated like 2 other books below 4 stars, but they were still ones that I like enjoyed. So I'm working on finding my perfect scale and rating system. I found that I just have to use 0.5s because there's a difference between like a Colleen Hoover 5-star and like a 4.5 star of another book, at least for me. So I found that 0.5s work the best, and 90% of the books I have read have been 4 stars and up. So I am with you on that, but I do feel like people are very harsh, and I will read reviews and they give it 3 stars and I'm like, oh my god, they must have hated this book. But then they're like, I love this book, it was great. And I'm like, well, then why did you give it 3 stars? So obviously my expectations are probably different from a lot of people's. That's the way it always is. But yeah, in my book, 4 stars, 4 and 5 stars is fantastic. 3 stars is where I'm like, I just, you know, there's a big drop off there for me personally. It Ends With Us and People We Meet on Vacation are both overrated. I don't know about this. I really liked People We Meet on Vacation. I feel like it might have been a little bit overrated. I did rate that one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it though, but like thinking about it now, I'm like, did I really enjoy it, or was that just like so far towards the beginning of my like reading journey that I didn't have anything better to compare it to? I don't know. I definitely need to revisit Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation. It's been probably like 8 to 10 months since I've read those, and I just don't really remember. I rated both of those 4 stars though. It Ends With Us, I loved that book. I think it was incredible. I didn't, to me, I feel like everyone's perspective is different, because to me, It Ends With Us was not her most popular book at the time that I read it. I feel like a lot of people felt that way, but when I read the book, all I heard about was Verity. Verity was like the hot topic of TikTok, and I knew It Ends With Us was another one of her popular books, but I didn't see it as like that talked about when I read it, which was I think August of last year. So I read it like expecting a lot because I loved Verity, but it wasn't overhyped in my head, so I thought it was fantastic. Now I feel like it's more hyped than it was then, but it could just be like the content that I was exposed to. I just hadn't seen that side of BOOKTOK yet, but I don't think it was overhyped. Personally, I think it is definitely one of the best books I've ever read, and I cannot wait for It Starts With Us to come out this year. I'm so excited. This next one says smut is boring. I feel like if you think that, you're just reading the wrong smut. If you guys don't know, smut is basically like spicy reading. Trying to keep it as general as I can. I don't think it's boring. I think it depends on the book. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna disagree with you on this one. A couple people say that they can't get into romance books or they hate romance books. I gotta disagree with you on those. I love romance. Romance is my favorite genre. I think that romance is great, whether it's contemporary romance or romantic comedies, or even like fiction with like a heavy plot of romance. That is what I'm here for. I'm here for the romance. Like in Malibu Rising, it's fiction, it's not a romance book, and I'm like, okay, where's the romance? I need more romance here to make things more interesting. So yeah, I love romance books. I have never read a historical romance or like any of the older romance books. Most of what I've read has come out within the last few years, so maybe try something new if you are thinking that you don't like romance. If you haven't, I don't know. There's all kinds of romance though. There's rom-com, there's closed-door romance, there's spicy romance, there's dark romance, there's mafia romance. There's so many different types of romance. So I feel like just saying you don't like romance is a little bit of a generalization. So maybe give it another try. Ugly Love was not good. I'm sorry, but you're wrong. You're just wrong. That was such a good book. One of my favorite books. Incredible, heartbreaking, beautiful, amazing. I love. Did not care for the Twilight books. I actually have not read all of the Twilight books. I read a few of them years and years and years and years and years ago, but I need to reread them. I got a really pretty white set for Christmas, so I definitely plan on rereading / reading all of the Twilight books again. I never read the small one, the like Bree Tanner one. I don't even know what that is, so definitely have to check that out. And then I read like half of the recent one that came out from Edward's POV. I forget what it's called. It came out like maybe a year or two ago, but I never finished that either. It's basically Twilight, but from Edward's perspective. So I need to reread all of those. I can't say that I agree or disagree, but I will say that I did love the movies, and I don't care if you think they're cheesy. I loved them and they were great, and I'm Team Jacob. Good Girl's Guide to Murder is overrated. I have not read that book. I think it's a series. Is that a series? I'm pretty sure it's a series or like a trilogy or something. I have not read it, so I cannot say I agree or disagree with you, but I do think that there's a lot of hype around that series, and I don't really know what it's about, so I don't even know what to think about it. But let me know if you guys think it's overrated or if it's worth the hype, because I definitely have been close to purchasing it a few times. I'm pretty sure it's a YA mystery or like thriller type series. I could be completely wrong, but that's my understanding of it. We will finish this video off with a very interesting unpopular book opinion. I think this is a unique perspective and something that we should all keep in mind. And this person says that they disagree when people complain about a book because it has a generic or common trope. And the example that they give is the House of Night series. They say, just because it's a vampire story where a girl has 2 male interests doesn't make it bad. Obviously, that's a very common theme that we see in books and movies, but I think the reason it's so common is because that's what we all love. That's what we're here for. We just eat it up. So just because a new series comes out where there's a girl and 2 male interests and it's about vampires doesn't make it bad. Another example is all Hallmark Christmas movies are the same. Like, okay, and how many people enjoy Hallmark Christmas movies? Like, we know they're all the same, but they're comforting and we enjoy them, and why fix something if it's not broken, you know? So I 100% agree with this unpopular book opinion. Now, you can like one more than the other, and that's totally fine, but I don't think that the reason being that it's just another one of these is a valid reason for saying that the series is bad, if that makes sense. So that was my reaction / my own opinions on your unpopular book opinions. Don't forget to leave me your thoughts on all of these opinions. How many times can I say opinions? Oh my goodness. Just let's have some discussions down below in the comments, and remember to be respectful and do not start any arguments, please. I know we all have very differing opinions, but it's fine. That's the beauty of it, is that we can choose to read what we want to read, and no one can tell us what to do, and it's just fine, and we can continue doing what we love. So that's gonna be it. I love you all so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.